Please remain standing as we invite God's presence and we pay homage to our country, Grenada. We welcome at this time Pastor Lambert from the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Pastor Lambert.
Let us bow our heads as we honor and acknowledge God. Father in heaven, we come before you this morning in the name of Jesus. We are thankful, dear God, that we are in the land of the living. We give you thanks and praise because you are God all by yourself. We acknowledge and we exalt your name above all name, dear God. We thank you for such a great initiative. As we come here, dear God, we pray that our hearts will be open to whatever will be transpired here. We pray that you will be with those who are conducting the main feature. We pray, dear God, as they articulate themselves, that it will be clear, it will be transparent, and as a result of that, we will be inspired, dear God. We pray in a very special way that you will continue to bless the nation of Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique in a very special way. We thank you, dear God, that you have been with us through the good times and the challenging times. We're thankful, dear God, that you have seen us through hurricanes. You have seen us through different challenges, dear God, economic challenges, and even through the COVID-19 experience. And for this, dear God, for being with us and seeing us and giving us that spirit of resilience, we bless and we glorify your name. Into your hands, dear God, we commit the entire day's proceedings. We pray that you will lead, guide, and direct. And at the end, dear God, we will say it is a good thing that we are present here. Into your hands, we commit everything. Take full charge and control. May your will be done, and may your name be glorified. In Jesus' name.
We now welcome Shoshana McMayo to sing the national anthem of Grenada.
Good morning. Hail, Grenada, land of ours, we pledge ourselves to thee. Heads, hearts, and hands in unity to reach our destiny. Ever conscious of God, being proud of our heritage, may we with faith and courage aspire, build, advance as one people, one family. God bless our nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McMayo, and thank you, Pastor Paul. You may now have your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure this morning to welcome your moderator for the Fireside Chat 2025. He is the CARICOM Youth Ambassador and National Youth Prime Minister of Grenada. He is an entrepreneur for over 5 years who specializes in digital marketing and artificial intelligence. He is also one of the only ChatGPT verified chatbot builders in the Caribbean, pioneering AI-driven solutions in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome your moderator for today, Mr. Joshua Andel.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Etienne, for that wonderful introduction. Honorable Dickon Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada, Cabinet Ministers, Members of Parliament, Press Secretary, and other members of government, Mr. Aliko Dangote, CEO and Chairman of Aliko Group, Professor Benedict Korama, President of AfriExim Bank, members of the business community, youth entrepreneurs, other special invited guests, teachers, and students, welcome to the inaugural Fireside Chat, hosted by our very own Honorable Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell. You know, for generations, Caribbean communities have come together around the fireside to share stories that inspire, educate, and of course, connect. These intimate moments of reflection and dialogue have paved and shaped the way for many individuals and communities alike pertaining to their values, ambitions, or identities. Now, honoring this cherished tradition and as part of Grenada's 51st anniversary of celebrations, the government of Grenada is happy to announce that we will launch a new program series called the Fireside Chat. The Fireside Chat series builds on this cultural legacy by creating a platform where global leaders, innovators, can share insights to inspire the young nation and, of course, contribute to nation building. Today's Fireside Chat, an event, will feature a role model of mine, Nigerian business magnate, Mr. Aliko Dangote, one of Africa's most successful entrepreneurs. Now, the theme for today is entrepreneurship and leadership, cultivating a growth mindset for success. Now, this theme, it wasn't chosen by accident. It speaks to the journey of a business owner, a journey that I know far too well myself, a journey filled with opportunities, challenges, and of course, the best part, the part that would stop many entrepreneurs, a journey filled with uncertainties. Now, it is important to note that we do have entrepreneurs here in Grenada who have successfully went through these challenges. Now, with that being said, I invite you to sit back and experience this video highlight of the journey of 4 Grenadian entrepreneurs. Can we get some volume, please?
Played a key role in shaping our society as we know it, and it continues to shape our future. Let's hear from 4 inspiring entrepreneurs who have successfully turned their visions into reality.
My name is Chad Fraser. I'm the CEO and founder of Sonova. And Sonova is a software company, a technology company. We focus primarily on building software solutions. And over the last 2 years, we've started venturing into hardware production, building sensors and actuators and things to help digitize physical businesses as well.
So I'm Keisha Miller. I'm the owner of Living Essentials and Luxurious Scents. Living Essentials is a handmade, natural skincare, hair care, and body care product business. And Luxurious Scents is a hand-poured scented candle business.
My name is Shadell Maya Compton, and I'm the Managing Director at Belmont Estate. So Belmont Estate is an agri-tourism and specialty food manufacturing business, and we are seeking to merge agriculture, tourism, and sustainability to create enriching experiences for our guests, while at the same time we're supporting local communities.
My name is Anselm Latouche. Businesses we run Creative Designs and Building Construction, Creative House Limited, Terra Caribbean, Cooling Tech Limited, Shelter Solution, Fortress Limited, Eastern Development. They're active companies that we run.
When I was younger, I wanted to be an inventor. I had no intentions of starting a business. But being in Grenada, trying to be an inventor in Grenada was something that was very difficult at the time. And I started freelancing actually. And that morphed into a business, freelancing, building sites and systems, and bringing on one person to help, went into bringing in 2 persons to help, and the rest is history now, 11 people.
I started this because I wanted to address a personal issue of mine, which was my acne in the first place. And I've been through the struggles of trying numerous products that just wasn't working. And upon doing a lot of research on the internet, I got the inspiration to try using natural products, especially a natural soap, to see how my skin would react to it. And eventually I found pretty much a formula that started to work in my best interest, and things just grew from there.
I saw that there was a need to drive tourism business to the north outside of St. George's. And our visitors really needed to have a more authentic experience to be able to connect with our people, our land, our traditions, and of course our local cuisine. So I wanted to show that strong connection between farming and tourism, and to create an experience that educated, inspired, and generated economic opportunities in the countryside.
I always knew what I wanted to do. And I had confidence in my ability to make a difference in how architecture look and how you deliver products to customers. Bringing to the table what is a balanced and fair system and process for clients and ourselves.
We've encountered many challenges over the years, from staffing to resources. We don't have an environment where there is bountiful financing available to finance your ideas. So you have to really take the hits, bounce back. At one point in our growth, I remember someone saying to me that they would never use a local software company, right? And after working hard on your work and you're getting that kind of feedback, you have to have strong back.
One of the things I had to deal with is getting the entrepreneurs to buy into my vision. Ideally, I came up with the concept and I had to sell it to persons without a physical space being ready, because the space that was earmarked for the store, it was under construction for quite a while. And then when it all started to unfold and come to reality, for a lot of persons felt as if they had taken another step in the growth of their business. And it was very emotional for me, because I know how having a physical space to have my products has impacted my business. And I was happy to be able to get that experience for others through the outlet store.
So in our line of business, climate change is definitely a challenge. We've had natural disasters, we've had Hurricane Ivan, Emily, and Beryl more recently in my times. Aside from having to deal with the upfront challenges of cleaning up and cutting and clearing post-hurricane, losing trees means decreased production over years. In our business, where we're farming mostly in cocoa and spices, these tree crops take between 5 and 20 years before they get back to full productivity.
In 2015, I will say to you that this business establishment that we're in here now had reached the stage of where all my financial advisors, everybody on the table said to us, let's file for bankruptcy. If I close down this business, I would have to take money out of my pocket and pay the people that been good to me. So I had to take a decision there and then and say to everybody, no, I'm not closing the business. I'll go to the creditors. I will take the money that I have and I will refinance the business and make arrangement to pay them. That took a lot from the organization. My wife and I had to say to my wife, listen, this is what we're doing. And we together come put it back to the wheel and build a stronger business than we ever had.
I spent a lot of extra time putting in the work to master my craft. I think that habit really differentiated what we are able to offer, because we try to remain on the cutting edge. So it means that we're always learning, we're always innovating. And I think that culture is really what caused us to be still existing today.
I started thinking outside of the box. What can I do to get this on a more acceptable scale? What can I do to be different on the market? Because after I got into the production of the natural soaps is when I realized there's a lot of persons actually doing this here in Grenada. So I started to think, how can I be different? And one of the ways that I came up with is to try to have a wide variety of items as possible, so that almost anybody or everybody can find something that they like. Because what may work for me may not work for you or may not be your preference. So, example, with our soap bars, we currently have over 125 different soap combinations.
I think being a diversified business, coming from just farming and having diversified into tourism and manufacturing and education and nonprofits, being able to have a range of products to expand into the international market has really helped to make us a sustainable and a growing business. And also being a purpose-driven business. Our business is just not about making profit, but it's about creating impact, preserving heritage, promoting sustainability, and uplifting our community, and also helping to build a strong team of people that also believe in the values that we have.
By yourself, you can't build anything. So the biggest asset is our ability to build and find people. So help and to get the company, all the companies operational. Manage your finances properly. Make sure the people around you have confidence in you. So these are the things we've been able to achieve from the public at large, vendors, employees, customers, that we've been able to achieve. Integrity. So, make people understand that, listen, your integrity, you care about it. And you lead by an example. So inside all our businesses, every person knows that this is what he will do.
I'll say first you have to have a vision and you must believe in yourself.
Make sure that the focus on the goal, make change to the plans, but never change the goal.
Make sure you're passionate about what you're doing, because it would help drive you, it help motivate you to want to keep going, especially when times get rough, things get a little bit difficult.
You want to be honest. I think people value being treated honestly. Those are the things that I think we need now, especially the young person getting into business.
You have to find help or people to make strengths where you have your weaknesses.
You've got to be willing to take risks, to adapt, and to keep learning. Entrepreneurship is not easy, but with passion, persistence, and the right people around you, you can build something extraordinary.
Grenada's entrepreneurial spirit is alive and thriving. Let's continue building, innovating, and inspiring the next generation.
Now, it is important to note that this video reminds us that Grenada has a strong entrepreneurial spirit, one that we must harness and support. And I must congratulate and extend, gratitude to the current government, who currently has many initiatives in place to support these budding entrepreneurs. Now, these stories that you just saw show how the journey may be filled with challenges, uncertainties. However, success is possible with resilience and determination. Let's continue to nurture and empower our local entrepreneurs here in Grenada. Now, for the interesting part, the part that we are all here for, the Fireside Chat. This engaging discussion will focus on entrepreneurship, adapting a growth mindset, leadership, and innovation, key areas for shaping the future of Grenada. Now, it gives me great pleasure to start with the introduction of our first speaker and our host. The story of our Grenada's 9th Prime Minister is one of success, forged from hard work, determination, and a deep desire for betterment. His service to Grenada as a teacher at his alma mater, the Presentation Brothers College, allowed him to appreciate the full spectrum of the educational experience in Grenada and cemented his desire to do more by advocating for the educational advancement of all Grenadians. Our Prime Minister is also a businessman. After completing Hugh Wooding Law School, His commitment to serve Grenada brought him straight home, where he commenced his law practice at Grant, Joseph & Co., and immediately distinguished himself as a formidable lawyer, representing many individuals and business entities. 3 years later, he would acquire Grant, Joseph & Co. In 2016, he opened another law firm, Mitchell & Co., a maneuver strongly influenced by his vision to create more employment for young and upcoming lawyers. His ambitions have always been tethered to his desire to give back, and as such, he has never divorced himself from the community. His collective experiences as a teacher, mentor, lawyer, and youth advocate shaped his experience and also his commitment to Grenada, motivating his decision to enter the political arena. Ladies and gentlemen, your host for today's Fireside Chat, Prime Minister, the Honorable Dickon Mitchell. Now for our feature speaker. In the bustling city of Kano, Nigeria, a young man with a burning ambition set out on a journey that would redefine business in Africa. From an early age, Dangote had an instinct for business. While most saw trade as a simple transaction, he saw it as a stepping stone to something far greater. In 1978, armed with an entrepreneurial spirit and a degree from Al-Azhar University in Cairo, Egypt, he started small, trading rice, sugar, and cement. But young Dangote wasn't just another merchant. He was a man with a vision to build, not just buy and sell. These seeds he planted in those early years grew into Dangote Industries Limited, a conglomerate that would become West Africa's largest and most influential business empire. Today, the Dangote Group spans 17 African countries, and its cement subsidiary, Dangote Cement PLC, dominates the industry with an annual production capacity of 55 million tons. More than just a company, it became the first Nigerian business to join the Forbes Global 2000 companies list, a testament to its global impact. Let's welcome to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Aliko Dangote.
Good morning, Aliko, and thank you very much for agreeing to grace us with your presence here in Grenada. I know this is your first time to Grenada, but not your first time to the Caribbean. And so I really want to express, first of all, our profound appreciation for you taking the time to be part of the launch of this, our Fireside Chat, particularly as Grenada, a young nation, marks its 51st anniversary of independence. We are truly delighted to have you here. We have in the room with us policymakers, the cabinet of Grenada, members of the diplomatic corps, senior government officials, businessmen and women, entrepreneurs, and my favorite group of people, school children. And so we are delighted that you've agreed to join us on this Fireside Chat. After our interaction, we will allow the audience to ask some questions of you. So welcome again. I want to start by indicating the moderator has given us an extensive summary of your success as an entrepreneur, industrialist, businessman. My question to you is, when you look back, did you ever envisage that you would become this successful?
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. It's great being here. It's a long journey, almost 9.5 hours from Nigeria. But, it's great to be here and, meeting great people. Your question is, have I ever envisaged to be where I am now. Even last week, I think a media guy asked me this question that, okay, fine, did you ever dream of being where you are at the moment? And I said that no, I've never really dreamt of being 1% of where I am today. So, I mean, really, we've had great challenges and but, we've also, we've done very well.
Okay. So, as you look back, where did it all begin?
As I look back, well, it all began at, 1978, when I first, left school, and I decided that, okay, fine, maybe I should do something. I started serving with my late grandfather, and then later on, I decided to move to Lagos that same year. When I moved to Lagos, I started trading just in cement. I said, I don't want to work for anybody. So by trading, it was during that scarcity of cement, and then there was so much projects, because the government, found quite a lot of money, oil money, doing reconstruction, and also rolled out a lot of projects. But we were importing all the cement, and I wasn't importing. I was just buying from an uncle of mine, trading. Then my grandfather said, okay, fine, well, let me help you. I give you 500,000, to add to your capital. 500,000 then was about 500,000 pounds, because the Naira pounds was about the same rate at that time. Then after about 3 months, I realized that, well, I didn't really need that much money, so I returned his money back to, to him. To tell you the worth of Naira at that time, my first Mercedes that I bought, 200, was 5,100 Naira that I bought. But then the cement trading was actually giving us between 6 and 7 thousand every day. I was making that much. So it means that every day I was making much more than a Mercedes Benz, And so with that, really, I was able to follow the discipline of my late grandfather. Being a very disciplined person, doesn't just waste money, and keeping a very low profile. And with that, then I decided that I'm now making it. I started giving myself a target. I remember I said that no, this year 1978 I'm going to be a millionaire. And I really wanted to do that, and I made it. So after a while, now in the 80s, in 1980, that was my first time of importation. And I imported sugar. I'm just giving you short. So with the importation of sugar now, that actually opened up my, eyes. But at that time, everything was controlled by government. You can only import when you have a license. So we started importing, a bit restricted, but we're getting licenses. Sometimes we get the license from a third party. Sometimes we get it directly. And that is how we now became very big in food, especially frozen fish, rice, sugar. And, since then, we, escalated the business. The business was quite, promising. We traded for almost about 20 years, just trading. We tried a bit of textiles, but unfortunately, the Chinese smuggling, dumping, and whatever actually made us to close down that business of textile in 1996. So we tried quite a lot. We tried banking. We also, we opened up a bank called Liberty Merchant Bank. We had a dream of a very big bank. At that time, I think the capital was about 4 million. We started with 30 million Naira capital in 1990. But, at the end of the day, we got out of banking, because banking, we realized that you need to be there as a person. banks are much better in Nigeria at that time if it's sort of owner-managed bank than just an entrepreneur setting up a bank and asking people to now go and run the bank. We did very well, but then we sold out that business. Then we now say, okay, fine, look, we have now, created a very big trading group, but trading doesn't really make much money. You make very fast money, but it doesn't have a great future, because with trading, you can actually decide that, hey, look, I don't want to do it again today. Then you shut down your office and you can sack everybody. Now we say, okay, fine, let's just get into manufacturing. And I remember that time there was a firm called, Arthur Anderson. So it was Arthur Anderson that that is what now they broke down into two, KPMG and another, firm. And then we say, okay, can you please come and talk to us about getting into industry? Because getting into industry, we realized that a lot of people, they have actually tried industrialization and they failed. That's people much, much before us. You won't know their name, but these are the Oditolas, the Adeboales, and they tried. And most of them, they failed, not because of their own fault, but mainly because of government policies. So we called in this firm, had a retreat in a hotel called Sheraton, just by the airport in Lagos. And what came out of that, our 2 days retreat, was that first of all, we said that Nigeria, was sort of like a scratch card. You don't really see the goodness of it unless you get in there. So we decided that, okay, so what are the reasons why those previous entrepreneurs failed to excel? There are two reasons, mainly two reasons. One is to do with inconsistencies in government policies. The other one is about power, electricity we don't have. It wasn't really much, available. Because of the cost of energy, it might not make you competitive. The third one is to do with our own banking that are not very, very strong at that time, because the capital was low, so what I'm trying to address here is to see, okay, fine, for a nation, you need very strong banking system, and local banks, because international banks might not really help address your issues. So we now say, okay, fine, so how do we address the two main issues, which is lack of power and then inconsistencies with, with government policies? Inconsistencies with government policies is for you to keep close to government and keep telling them what is right, what is not right, showing them that, look, this business is actually, a business for everybody. Business for everybody, meaning that when you invest, the largest shareholder of your business is government. You are actually at the back seat. Because if you look at, we have a company that has matured now, for example, like our cement business. 52% of our turnover goes to the government in terms of different taxes. So when you have that, we cannot even take money out of the company unless when we declare dividend, we have to pay 10% withholding tax. Everybody, all the shareholders, everybody has to pay individually 10% withholding tax, then you collect money out of the business. So that's why I say government, they are the largest shareholders. The second one is to do with electricity. And we say, okay, fine, so how do we address that? And the only way to address that, now we decided all our businesses, we will generate our own power. And that's why today, if you look at it as a group, we are generating our own power, self-consumed power, 1,540 megawatts. So that's what we, generate as a group.
I want to interrupt here just to give some scale. The total amount of power being generated by Grenada is, I see the chairman of the power company here, 50 megawatts.
50?
50. for the entire island. So your businesses generate 1,000 times
Yes.
more power than the entire island.
That's
So I just wanted to give some perspective.
Well, that's true. So we decided to do that, and that's why wherever we have business, the only places that we don't have there are two. One is South Africa. At the time that we were doing, they had power. The power was very, very efficient. And then Ethiopia. Ethiopia, we actually, we are not connected. We did not invest, because it is different thing for you now to go into industrialization. You now buy equipment to generate power, because that's a different investment. Because when you are a manufacturer, you shouldn't be involved in generation of your power. This is supposed to be provided by the state when they provide, or any other private sector, so that you consume and you pay. So you don't really get involved with this. So we decided to do that, and we're able now to grow the business. And then we say, okay, fine, now that we've grown this business, how do we now go outside Nigeria to the other part of Africa? And I know that our first factory outside outside Nigeria was Senegal. So we started with Senegal, then we expanded to other countries, which now we happen to be almost in about 12 countries, doing cement only. The rest of the business we are not doing outside Nigeria. They are all in Nigeria in terms of industrialization. You want me to go on?
Well, let me ask this. I note that you said you did not want to work for anybody.
Yes.
What led to you having that inspiration of wanting to not work for anybody?
I think generally, and I think Professor Rama can confirm that generally Nigerians are entrepreneurs by nature. And you hardly find people who just want to remain as professionals, and nobody wants to work for anybody. So like right now, I have a brother. Somebody was actually asking me about where he was. I said, no, we're traveling together, but they will just drop me in Grenada, and then they will take him to Florida, to Miami. He said, okay, but I thought, are you doing the same business? I said that no. But he was working for me initially. He started with our transport. He was my transport manager. So, and then later on he decided that no, he wants to be on his own. So really, we don't have there's not any hard feelings if you have even your own child that say that no, he wants to go and try on his own. You encourage him. Let him now go and try. So that's why really, when you look at it, majority of the entrepreneurs we have in Africa, they're in Nigeria. Everybody is an entrepreneur. You just want to go and try your own luck.
So the culture has bred a spirit of entrepreneurship.
Yes, it is. It's based on entrepreneurship. I mean, in our family, I don't think if I know many of them that actually work for the family. Very few. Everybody wants to go and try his own luck.
Right. So Nigeria has in excess of 200 million people. It has a large oil, gas-based economy. Grenada is a tiny country. The numbers always seem to vary, 100, 110, 120,000 people. Despite the size difference, and despite Grenada's economy is largely services driven, particularly tourism, despite those differences, are there common themes or common characteristics you think are essential for one to be a successful entrepreneur, regardless of the size of the country or the market or the type of economy that the country has?
I think really the size doesn't matter. It's not something that should discourage you from having an ambition. And I think, you can go and look at it and say, okay, fine, how do I do something big with something small? Or how do I even create something big with nothing? You go back and look at history, go and look at countries like, Singapore. They've created something huge out of nothing.
So size
Doesn't matter, yes. And I believe Grenada can actually become very big. It can become, a very huge place. I mean, you look at it now, for example, in the 80s, where was Emirates? In fact, Emirates started with a lease of 3 aircrafts from Pakistan International, PIA.
Yes.
So why is PIA today? Why is, Emirates? So I think size doesn't really matter, but you have to be very, very creative. You have to be very, very creative, and I think really Grenada should be very, very creative. You need to open up and do more of sort of tourism, IT. You can also have what you call like, free duty-free stuff. You can now have, like other countries where they are doing, you now go and you either do ships where now people can come and register here, and you make it like a tax-free zone. Because taxing, how much are you going to get? But when you have people coming now to invest, they will create a lot of jobs, and that's what you want, so that they will create what you call disposable income for the society. I mean, if you open up, for example, now, when you remember I was even telling you, I think it was at the hotel, saying that a country like Grenada, you should not even ask for visas. If you want to protect yourself because of security, then you do few things and say, okay, fine, do like what Saudi Arabia did. Saudi Arabia used to be the tightest country when it comes to allowing people into their country. What did they do? Simple. They say, okay, fine, anybody who has visa to UK, has visa to US, has visa to Canada, has visa to, Europe, that's Schengen, has visa to UK. Anybody that has either the passport or the visa should come in and get his visa on arrival.
So
today, as we speak, the hotel that I used to pay $300 in Riyadh because of congestion of people is costing over $1,000. What will that do? It will open up massive construction all over the place. It will create jobs for your people. The industry will become much, much bigger and larger. Today, you can also have your own airline. You look at simple, even in Africa, you look at now Ethiopia, for example. Ethiopia just built an airport with a capacity of 20 million. Last year, that airport, right, handled 29 million passengers. So you have to actually open up. If you open up, your own people, okay, you will now say, okay, fine, you don't have many people. But the same thing, United Arab Emirates, the real locals were not up to 1 million before. But you can see now they have opened up, they are even giving 10 years visa. Now a house in Dubai costs more than in UK. Okay, because the land is nothing there, it's a desert. Even while there is no land, they go and do sand filling, take sand from the sea and do that. You can do the same thing here. Nothing stops you. So if you do that, you remove all these visas, you make it very simple. Somebody who wants to come and open a tax-free office, he's welcome to come and do that. So you welcome people. The security is not really an issue. If you are scared, go ahead and say, okay, fine. If you have visa or passport of these certain countries, fine. You say, okay, fine. Anybody coming, for example, of African descent, anybody coming from Africa should come and get visa on arrival. If you do that, I can tell you, you have to ask for help. Your own population will not be able to cope with that. Everybody will have a job. Then when everybody has a job, now you will become the story to tell. Once you become the story, people want to now come and, invest. And like what I said, that look, it is impossible for all your neighbors to have oil and you don't have. So you have a lot of it. It's just that you have not actually have people who will go and prospect for that oil. If you do that, then, oil should be even taken as a secondary. I don't want you to focus on having oil because sometimes oil can give you a very bad this thing. When you have oil, you become lazy. Everybody will become lazy. So even when you have the oil, take it as a icing on the cake. But look for agriculture. Apart from agriculture, you should also look for banking. Banking will actually help in terms of helping your own locals to establish this. And I was so happy when you said that, yes, Afrexim Bank actually, trying to see how they can help your entrepreneurs. Because your own entrepreneurs, the international banks, whether it's from Canada or US, they will not understand their story. They can tell them this story between today up to tomorrow, no. But when you have something like Afrexim Bank, it's like a local domestic bank. They will understand the story. They will know that, okay, fine, this is possible. This has been tried in Nigeria or somewhere. Think and roll.
So I wanted, therefore, I'm happy that you segued into the role of Afrexim Bank, and I will have President Orama, I almost said President Obama. I'll have President Orama address us a little later on when we conclude the proceedings. But I want to speak a little bit about the example that Africa and the Caribbean can learn from each other from the point of view of entrepreneurship and closer economic ties. You talked about the fact that it took 9.5 hours for you to fly directly from Lagos to Grenada. It takes about 8 to 9 hours for us to fly to London. And when I visited in Nigeria, I had to fly to London, 8 to 9 hours, a shorter trek, but extensive enough to Africa. So it takes the entire day if we go through London or if we go through the US. And yet there is no direct travel between Africa and the Caribbean. Our trade between Africa and the Caribbean is about 1% of total trade between the two of us. From your perspective, what can the Caribbean do, islands like Grenada, to encourage greater trade, greater exchanges, and greater economic cooperation between Africa and the Caribbean?
I think what we need to do first is to make sure that we have this air link first and removal of the visa requirements. Once you do that, then there will be quite a lot of people that will actually come. Some will just come here on holidays, and then they will find out that, hey, look, there are a lot of other opportunities. And if we can now try and link ourselves together and be doing a lot of trade, I'm sure even most things that you have here, because I've been to Barbados, I've been to Bahamas, and I realized that, look, most of the things that, people are selling is at the highest price. The price is a little bit high, it's pricey, so I think you need to look at us, export from here to Africa, Africa to here. That can actually help to develop your own, this thing. You are talking about 50 megas of power that you have. Some of the Nigerian entrepreneurs, when they come here, they know how much you are ready to pay. They will put up 500, megas. Okay, there might not be demands of 500 megas, but if the power is available, somebody will now come and open a factory here, create jobs, and be exporting. And that's what you need to do, as a nation. You just don't depend on what you have. Okay, you open it up. And okay, let me give you an example. How many people do you think that they've applied for even visa or so? They're not able to go to the US. Even if they're going to the US, it is so expensive for them. But if there's that air link, somebody will say, okay, yes, I'm going to Grenada or I'm going to one of the islands. So from here, you go to either Bahamas or go somewhere. You have the same weather. You don't go into this harsh weather. And you enjoy yourselves. I mean, somebody asked me, why do you like going to Miami? I like going to Miami because Miami has about the same weather with Nigeria. And that's the reason why I go there. I used to go to New York or Atlanta, but I don't like very, very cold weather, if I'm there on vacation.
Right. So you've talked about, and you've given examples of countries which, in a sense, have become the story. And in many instances, they started off with nothing. You've given the example of Singapore and what Singapore has become today. You've given the example of Emirates Airlines, which started off by leasing planes from Pakistan. And we have your own example. Your companies employ as much as 50,000 people. How important is vision and leadership to this process of becoming successful?
Well, first of all, you have to have a vision. You have to know, you have to have a vision. You have to have a mission. Say, okay, fine. What's my vision? What do I want to be? And the same thing with us. A couple of years back, we said, okay, fine. Look, we've done very well now. Our revenue was then about $4.5 billion. And we said, okay, fine. So we now have that vision, which we say, okay, fine, by 2030, we should be at about $30 billion, revenue. Having $30 billion revenue, moving from 4.5, it was a Herculean task. But here we are. We have actually created the assets, to take us to that, before even 2030. So you have to have the vision first. When you have the vision, then you have to make sure that, yes, you are committed to that your vision. It's not all about just, no, it will happen like that. No, it's not going to happen like that. It also requires hard work. You have to say, okay, yes, I want to do this X, Y, Z, but I have to really work very hard towards that. I mean, like what we did, I didn't tell you the other time, what we did, we said, okay, fine, you know what, we are going to start manufacturing. But how do you start the manufacturing? Because if I go now and start producing watches and co., the people who are already in that business are going to wait for me, they will deal with you. It doesn't matter who you are. So we decided that, okay, we'll just do what you call a backward integration. Backward integration means that we'll produce what we used to import. And that is what we did. And that's why we are successful. Because on the marketing side, we already have the customers. We know the market in and out. So that was what we did. So going back to this, we decided that, okay, fine, what do we do? How do we take our company from where we were to this? And then we decided that we're going to build a refinery. We had this vision that, okay, fine, because we tried before in 2007. We bought the local refineries in Nigeria, and then there was change of government from Obasanjo to President Yar'Adua within a few months. And, the government of President Yar'Adua did not really want to cede that control because they believed that the refineries were okay. They can also run them very well, profitably. So the government took over the refineries. We returned back the refineries. We didn't even move in there yet, And then they refunded our money. So we had this dream that, okay, you know what do we do? Because we had, a company that, look, we're making a lot of money. We want to invest that money. So we decided now to roll out a lot of this. And we had about 31 projects, of which the refinery, the petrochemical, these two, they are one. Even the refinery, to show you the power of vision, we said, okay, fine, what is the largest refinery ever built in the world? The largest refinery ever built in the world was 430,000 barrels a day. We said, okay, fine, we want to build 1.5 times that size that has been built. I mean, I remember I met former Minister of Energy then of Saudi Arabia, Dr. Fale, and he asked me that, well, Aliko, I learned that you want to build a refinery, but let me just advise you, refinery is being built by multinationals or sovereign governments. I said, no, Your Excellency, I'm not here to ask for advice. I've already started building, So we went through this, the biggest challenge of our lives, we did not carry any major EPC contractor. EPC is engineering, procurement, and construction contractors. They are specialized, you know. You have Bechtel from US, you have Saipem from Italy, and a lot of them, you know, about 4, 5 of them, about 5 big ones. We avoided using them, we did not use them. We created our own company for the first time and said that we will be now the EPC contractors. And we are very, very lucky. We have bankers like Professor Orama that believe in our vision because it is difficult. They would have asked that, no, go and use one of these ones because we are not known to build this. As we speak today, it is history. We went there, everything was designed to our own. Thank you. Everything was designed to our own. It's not even that. We had also, we said, okay, fine. Apart from the refinery, we have the largest line of polypropylene. So we have finished that one. It's going to roll out by next week. We'll start making polypropylene, about almost 900,000 tons. We have a refinery. The size of the refinery is 650,000 barrels per day. And that is the largest single line that has ever been built in the history of the world. And, you know, I mean, for us, last week was even very good. We had a first customer, Saudi Aramco, bought 180,000 tons of aviation fuel from us, you know, to take to Europe. So we have quite, thank you. We already have signed off, you know, starting next month, we will be exporting to Asia and the rest of the world polypropylene from the petrochemicals. But today, 90% of our jet fuel goes to US, go to other, you know, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, Europe. That's why we export our jet fuel. Today, we have also finished 2 years ago our fertilizer company. 40% of our fertilizer company goes to the US. So we produce, you know, urea. Right now we do about 7 ships of 30,000. We ship about 210,000 tons a month, you know, which is mainly, surprisingly, not even all to Africa, majority of it to US and other areas. But, you know, that is also the power of, you know, dream. It does not actually stop you from growing. It's always better for me now to say, okay, fine, I want to move from 5 feet tall to 6 feet tall. No. If I'm 5 feet tall, I say I want to be 10. You always give yourself, thank you. You always give yourself a very high target. People who don't have big dreams, they will never make it in life. So you have to, thank you. You have to really have a very, very big dream. But the only thing is that you have to also chart a course of how do I meet up with this, my dream? How do I get it? And you remain very, very focused. You have to be focused and consistent. You know, I always tell people that, look, you know, good living, I mean, which means good enjoyment and making it in life, they don't go together. That's what, yes. They don't go together. You know, you have to have some time that you deprive yourself out of enjoying or out of enjoyment, and then you make it in life, you know. And I always say that, you know, some of the problems that we have, which I'm sure are the same, all from Africa, you know, which now sometimes when somebody calculates that, look, I have this business and I'm going to be making $10 million from this business. Before you even start the business, you start spending the income. So you shouldn't do that. As a business, let it be very, very, very strong. When it is very strong and you are doing well, all your friends that normally invite you to these parties and whatever, they will only invite you to the parties when you are doing well. For somebody who is about to declare bankruptcy, nobody will invite you to a party. Nobody really will invite you to a party. So what you need to do is that focus, make sure that you deliver, then you can actually become the darling of your family, the darling of everybody. Right. But without making it, no, I think but what I want you to do also, especially the students that are here, is for you to know that yes, in life, nothing is impossible. That's why when you come to my office, the first sign you will read is that nothing is impossible. Lazy people don't make it in life at all. If you take life easy, you are not going to make it. If you are very, very serious and you are dedicated to what you are doing, fine, and don't be scared of failure. When you fail, you now go ahead and, try again. You'll make it maybe second time around. So life is all about challenges. Nothing comes easy. Life without challenges is very, very boring. So obviously we too have passed through challenges, and we have surmounted those, challenges. For example, when we were building the refinery and other things, it was during COVID. 2 years or 3 years into the, real construction. We started real construction 2018, erection of the equipment. Then 2020, COVID set in March 2010. So can you imagine having a site with 67,000 people? At our site already, luckily, we have built 50,000 rooms for workers, hospital, recreational, ground, dining rooms, what else? Yeah, water, sanitation, everything we built for 50,000 workers, and that is what really helped us. So we were able to accommodate and lock everybody to continue with work. But can you imagine if these same workers, they were under another EPC. The EPC contractor, just for him to make more money, or the company to make more money, they would have demobilized. Then for you to remobilize, you have to pay with their blood. And that's why we are very, very lucky that we did not use any EPC contractor. So you can also see now the challenges. If I take you through the challenges that we faced during the construction, it might be maybe helpful if we have a little bit of time. I can explain to them really what we went through. And, looking at it, then you can now understand that when you are doing business and you face challenges, it doesn't mean that you just go to bed and say, oh my God, let me just die, it's easier. No. You keep going and going and going. Most people really, they don't actually even understand what we actually went through. It's not just you just construct a refinery. If now, for example, you are doing, let me give you an example. When we started, apart from that, we had issues with the land and whatever. Then, when we were ready to go into the land, we realized that 70% of the land was actually all just like Amazon. So had a lot of trees. And you don't go into a land and you cut the trees. It was a swamp. So every tree you have to uproot. And that one we didn't calculate. It took us another 9 months. Then they said that when you read this climate change story, you see that Lagos is one of the cities that will be submerged one of these days. We don't pray so, but it is there. So we now say, okay, fine, we don't want our refinery to be submerged. What do? We have to now raise, let me tell you the size. The size is about 30 million square meters. That's the size of our own, this is about 2,800 hectares. It's about 30,000 square meters. And we had to raise this land by 1.5 meters. So it means that we need 65 million tons of sand. We're even a little bit confused at once. And we didn't want to change that land because it was the only alternative that we had, because we're in another land in a nearby state, which the governor held us to ransom for about 3.5 years. He did not allow us to move in. And already we had drawn down from the banks about 2.6 billion, which was in an escrow account. So every minute we're paying interest. But we waited for 3.5 years and we couldn't wait any longer. We had to now go and hire the biggest dredger in the world. We had to hire the second largest and then the 10th largest dredger, in the world. What did we do? Because the area where we are is a fisherman area. Their livelihood is about fishing. Mm-hmm. If you start using it, you disrupt their own livelihood. So we had to go 20 kilometers into the sea, into the Atlantic Sea, pipe and pump all these 65 million tons of sand. And after we finished, now somebody say, okay, well, the rule is that you have to wait for 1 year for it to settle. I said, no, we won't wait for 1 year. What do we do? So they now said that, no, we can go to China. There are some people who do dynamic compaction. And we had to hire them to have this dynamic compaction for us to be able to move before 1 year to press the sand so that it will settle by massive compaction. And that's what we did. Now they say, okay, but the soil is so bad, you have to do piling. And I thought piling wasn't really a difficult thing. We built a head office in Lagos, which is still under construction. We had about 41 or so, 41 piles on 18-story building. So when they did these numbers, the number, Honorable Prime Minister, came out at 249, almost 250,000 piles. So we have to face that and be able to just, because when somebody asked me, but you guys aren't you? I said that no, we're in the middle of the sea. Okay, if we are tired in the same distance, to go back is not an option. But you have to go forward to make sure you get to the promised land. And that is how we did all this, with the support of people like Professor Rama, Afrexim that actually believe in our dream. If the banks, they didn't, actually believe in our dreams, they would have pulled the plug, we would have lost out, they would have lost out too. But today is a different thing. And, we have already tested what has never ever been designed before, up to about 550,000 barrels a day. And we hope by March, April, we'll be at 650,000. Okay.
Well, I think you've heard it yourself. Nothing is impossible.
Yes.
And I've been to Aliko's office, and the sign is there. Nothing is impossible. And his success is a living proof of that fact, that nothing is impossible. And that's all the more reason why we're honored to have you here.
Prime Minister, if you look at it, even your own as a nation, that's what you're supposed to do. You now go and say, okay, fine, who has created something out of nothing? Then you go back and you read, how did they do it? And you just copy and paste. You might not have the same geographical distance, but if you do that, it is possible. I was telling somebody that today, when they look at Dubai, some of them, they don't have history of Dubai. In the early 80s in Dubai, they used to actually distribute water with donkeys. Yes. But you can see today, what is it? And then the same thing, the ruler of UAE said that, okay, fine, oil has dominated our economy. What can we do to make sure that oil takes a back seat? They say, okay, they have this vision, and now they're already there. Oil now is only 18% of UAE's economy. Their GDP, the GDP contribution of oil is 18%. And that's what you're supposed to do as a nation.
Fantastic. So there are a lot of people in the audience. I'd like to give them an opportunity to pose questions that they may have to you. So you've heard the wisdom. It's coming from someone who's walked the walk, not just talk. And I really want to obviously say how happy we are to have you here as a living example of the fulfillment of that saying that nothing is impossible. So I don't know who will be the first to jump to a mic. Directors of this, you're going to have to tell us how much time we have. If we need to, if we're running up against the clock, you will
Yes.
let me know. But anyone who wants to ask a question, I think there are 2 mics in the audience. Yes, I see people are standing up quickly, so that's good. You just say your name and you proceed to ask. I assume you will not have any questions for me, and they will all be directed to our guests. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Honorable Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell and Mr. Dangote. My question this afternoon is, what are the 3 most important decisions you have made that greatly influence the success of your business?
Okay, thank you very much. The most important decision that I made is, number 1, to be an entrepreneur and also be an entrepreneur with integrity. That's number 1. Number 2 is to try and make sure that I take out fear from my mind. Because if you are very, very scared of doing things, you will drop the ball midway. So I made sure that, yes, I'm not scared of doing anything. That is why I have this, and that for the last 40 years, I've had it on my table, which I refuse to remove. Is there nothing is impossible? Because all what I always look at is that, look, most of the things that have actually been done, they are done by what? Human beings. And I'm a human being. The person who has achieved X, Y, Z, he has achieved this. It's not impossible for me to achieve the same thing. The other decision that propelled us to where we are right now is deciding to move into manufacturing, to be an industrialist, because trading did not really take us to anywhere. It has given me the platform of having the capital to move to the next level, which is now industrialization. So these are the 3 most important decisions that I've taken.
Right, so before we take the next question, I want to just drill down a little to ask, 1, how important is integrity? And 2, how do you go about...
No, integrity with hard work.
Integrity with hard work.
Yes.
And how do you go about removing that fear?
The removal of the fear is that, first of all, like what I said, you definitely will look up to somebody. That somebody is not an angel, is a human being like you. So if you can do it, why can't you do it? Quickly, let me tell you a story. The first time our own football team, Nigeria, clashed during World Cup, we went to, I think it was Houston, if I can remember. I can't remember, it's in the US. And we went there, we were so scared because the first team that, we clashed with was Italy. And all of us were very jittery. Actually, some of us, I don't drink, but some of us that drink, they had to go and charge themselves. They had to go and charge themselves, and now from there, we went to the stadium. We were just going there. We thought Italy was going to actually trash us. But the first goal was Nigeria, scoring against Italy. So from there, now our guys started to play extremely well. Because it has actually removed the fear that, so I can do this. It's possible, it's just like now when you look at it, ourselves as a company, when we built the largest cement, in the world, in one location, 16 million tons. Then we say that, but it's not difficult now to go and build something. But not only building, we want to do make a history and build what nobody has ever tried in the world. And we did it.
Very good.
Good afternoon, everyone. So access to capital for startups has always been
I can hear you.
Yeah, could you come closer to the mic?
Access to capital for startups has always been a challenge for founders.
Yeah, keep going as long as we can.
Okay. In your opinion, what are some of the programs that are working in Africa to increase the success rate of new innovation within the startup community?
Well, for a startup, what I keep always saying, for a nation, you must have your local bank, or a bank that their own vision has actually aligned with that of the local. If you don't have the local bank, even when you have access to capital, will actually be very, very difficult. It has always been, even as in Nigeria, access to capital has actually been this. But it is by far much better today because our banks are very, very strong. They are very liquid. Their capital has actually, gone up. Not only as a starter, like yourself. I mean, you mentioned that as a starter. Even for us, if we don't have banks that do understand and they have the flair of that local stuff, will not be able to, to be where we are. I mean, for example, today, I can say that yes, here we are where we are. We have created a big organization. We have a company that this year we expect to do $30 billion of revenue, which I have never ever dreamt in my entire dream or in my life. But it is made possible because of the strong banks that we have backing us. And I said it before, not that I want to embarrass Professor Rama. Without Professor Rama led Afrexim Bank, we will not be where we are today. So really, that bank that you have, even if it's not owned by the locals, you have to make sure that you have a bank that aligns with your own dream and your thinking. Because you go to this, I don't want to mention names, but you go to either British banks, American banks, you won't get to anywhere.
Good. Well, we heard it, so
yes,
I will reserve my comments on the banks.
Yes. They will ask you, I mean, by the time they take you through, most likely that your business plan might be obsolete. And that's what it is. I've gone through that too before. They will go through, they will read everything, and then at the end of the day, most likely they must have run a check on you and realized that yes, you have lost your grandfather, you've lost your mother, and then they say, okay, fine, please can you give me their birth certificates? They will ask you for the impossible. So try as much as possible. As a nation, you have to have a local strong bank or a bank that, you have an alignment between your own vision as a nation or the bank.
All right, so we have Chad. Oh, sorry.
No, we have
my
people
apologies.
there.
I didn't realize we had a separate line.
Yeah, it's because of the lights.
Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead, please.
There are people there.
Hi,
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Damali, and one of the things that struck me while you were speaking about your experience and your growth in business is the fact that you had that family background, and we can appreciate that having prior knowledge in business, it helps. Having family in business, it helps. But as you've grown, within this environment of entrepreneurship, in Nigeria in particular, where everybody is an entrepreneur, as you said, how have you navigated collaborations? Because competition is at the bottom, collaborations are at the top. how have you been able to grow and expand your businesses throughout the years, navigating these sometimes can be tricky collaborations? What are the things that you look for, and how do you proceed?
Thank you. Well, yes, you are right. Competition is there. That's a very good question. How did I navigate to be, where I am? Okay, what we did, there are two things that we believe, which they are still happening today, that we believe that people will challenge us on. First of all is the quality of whatever that we're going to produce. Okay, and we address that through good investment in the machinery that we use. Because we know that whatever business that we're going to do, there are people that have actually been there before us, and they will now, part of the competition, they will try to either use pricing or quality. So we always address these two issues. We address the quality. We also address the issue of pricing. Once you address these two, there's nothing a competition can do to you. You can see that today we are very, very competitive. What we have today, for example, in our own oil refining, we actually say that no, we don't want to produce what Nigeria or African countries are consuming. We want to go to the next mile, which is Euro 5. So the same Euro 5, not only Euro 5, we are even producing winter diesel. But competition is very fierce depending on what business that you are in. We have done that in all our businesses. We've done that in sugar. We fought with the sugar, mafias that we met before we got into that business. We fought with the cement people. Cement, when we started cement, majority of the big cement companies warned all the shipping companies, if anybody that touches Dangote, we will not do business with them. And I had to go to some of the smaller ones who have nothing to lose. And those ones offered and they gave us their service. The big ones realized that these small companies were actually growing, catching up with them. They now later on came to us. And so competition, you have to be very smart. You have to be ahead of your competition if you really want to survive. If you don't get ahead, just think of the worst and say that this is what your own competitor will do, and then you go extra mile, you'll be very successful.
Thank you very much. All right, next question. Go ahead.
All right, good afternoon.
Sorry, Chad, hold on. I was looking at my right, so. Go ahead, Maida.
No, I think it was before her.
Honorable Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, Mr. Aliko Dangote, government officials, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am Rihanna Warren, and I am the co-founder of Modish Muse Design Company. We specialize in custom fashion pieces for special occasions and stylish everyday wear. My question has two parts. As a business leader, how do you balance profitability with social impact? And what advice would you give to young female entrepreneurs looking to leave a lasting legacy in business?
Okay, well, lasting legacy business, you have to have a business that is well structured. A business that is well structured, you leave a lasting, and you have to have something on the ground, not money. I keep telling people that there are two types of entrepreneurs. One is a wealthy person, one is a rich man. Okay, so a wealthy person is one that creates wealth and then is shared among people. A rich man will amass wealth and keep it for himself and maybe his immediate family. So if you look at it, I keep telling people now, if I'd sort of decided to be just, having cash, I wouldn't have gone into building, for example, a refinery. to put $20 billion. If I put that money into the stock exchange, New York Stock Exchange, maybe my valuation would have been over 100 billion. But when you passed, after your death, nobody is going to talk about, okay, you've died and you left $100 billion. But somebody will now come and see a refinery working with a lot of jobs, direct and indirect, maybe 100,000 jobs. And they will always remember that, yes, there was somebody who took the risk and put his money and built this. So it's always better you do things that people will remember you for. Good things, though. And, so with that, I think if you go now, you open up a factory, if anything happens to you, nobody will come and say, okay, fine, you know what, shut down this tailoring shop or this designer shop. Somebody, one of your kids or whatever, will come up and take over.
All right. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Chad. Go ahead, Chad.
Good afternoon, everybody. Chad Fraser from Sonova. We're a technology company. One of the things that we hear a lot of horror stories about people trying to come together to partner on big ideas. You were able to execute on a huge idea, a huge vision. So I wanted to know from you firstly, how important is partnership and coming together and working together? And two, what criteria did you use in finding partners who could align with the vision that you had to take you to where you are today?
Thank you. That's a very good question. Two questions. Okay. Well, partnership actually depends on the person. Sometimes it works for some people, and it does not work for other people. It doesn't work for me. And let me tell you why, because I can't just say that it does not work for me. Partnership, sometimes when you have partnership, sometimes it helps because when you want to do something big, you don't have the capacity you have. But it has also its own downside. I'm sure I have the same experience, or have the same stuff, both Nigeria or here or Africa and here. Sometimes when you have that partnership, when you want to now call for capital, your own partners might not be ready to do so. They might say that, no, I don't want to go there. They can slow you down from that your dream. That's number one. Number two, you also have, why I also run away from partnership. Sometimes when you have a partner and you might have a different lifestyle, when you have a different lifestyle, then there is the onlookers part of the family. Maybe the wife of your partner can say that, wait a minute, John, I think this your partner, he is taking money out of the business. Okay, the fight will not come between you and your partner, but it can come from the family side. Somebody can do. I've seen a lot of partnership that has actually been destroyed, not because the partners disagree, but the second level from the family side, wives or relations, they will come up. Most likely, I might have a very high lifestyle where I want to buy gold, wristwatches and whatever to my wife, Hermes bags and co. Then you might not be that person who wants to do that. And what will happen? At the end of the day, your wife will start saying that, hey, look at this guy's wife. Are you sure he's not taking money out of the business? So I know I've seen I've seen a lot of this, and I don't want to really give an example, but it does happen. In some areas, it's good when you go to some countries and they say, okay, fine, why don't you take a partnership? Partnership is good if that your partner, when there is call up capital, the partner will actually put that money down. Okay, because in some countries where I also experience, I don't want to say where, we have local, I think it's the only one or two countries that we have partnership. And that one is because of regulation. When you call for capital, right, and that your partner does not have the money, you have to carry him along, because it will be very risky for you. First of all, the regulation does not, or the laws don't allow you to operate on your own. So you can see that at the end of the day, you have to carry the entire funding of that business. So you have to be very, very, very careful, and you have to also choose a partner that has, integrity, because there might be issues. If you're a partner, let's say you and somebody, you have a good partnership. You are running a very, very good, this thing. And then your partner also has, for example, he has a business in a restaurant or in a club. And then they say, okay, yeah, the authorities have gone there, they've buggled, they've went for a search, they found something at your partner. It will affect you. So that's why the integrity, the type of person that you take as a partner must be somebody like you that you can vouch on. Otherwise, if you can't, don't take that person as a partner. It doesn't matter what he has.
All right, thank you. We will take 3 more questions, and then we will conclude. So go ahead, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Derek Barry.
Can you speak up a bit?
Sorry, Mr. Barry, just speak a little closer to the mic.
Okay. My name is Derek Barry, a small business owner in the countryside. I'm accustomed to when you are invited to a function or to a home that you normally walk with a gift. So I don't know what gift that you walk with for Grenada.
You normally walk with what?
My question is, I listened intently, hoping that to hear that some of the rich people, they do have a foundation. And I would like to know if you do, I haven't heard you said any, if you do have a foundation that Grenadians or Grenada might be able to tap into some of your resources.
Thank you. Yes, definitely. Yes, I set up a foundation a very, very long time ago. My foundation dates back to the early 80s. But that time I was just doing it on a personal, scale, where, because I'm a Muslim by religion, and they say that, which I'm sure even in Christianity is the same thing, that you should not allow what your right hand gives, you shouldn't allow the left hand to know. But I know things have actually changed now in the world. People want to know, okay, yes, you have this, but what are you giving back? And, so in 1994, we set up Aliko Dangote Foundation. It was Dangote Foundation. We changed the name a few years back. And this foundation, the same time we actually changed the name, I also did an endowment of $1.25 billion, to the foundation. And we have 70% of our spendings are in Nigeria, 20% in Africa, and then 10% outside, Africa. So we do intervene from time to time, disaster, relief. We do that. We do education. We do mainly health. We do poverty alleviation, and we do also a lot of feeding. So this is what we do really as a foundation. And, we participate in several other countries.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. Barry, Aliko was speaking very softly when he was speaking about his foundation because he's very modest. So I will tell you so that you, in case you missed it, he's donated $1.25 billion to the Aliko Dangote Foundation. So, you are, in a sense, pre-shadowing a part of today's proceedings, so you will get a sense of the kinds of things that his foundation does before we conclude. I've been told that we're running out of time, but since there are 2 people who've been standing there patiently, I will give them the opportunity to ask your questions as quick as possible. So starting with the young lady. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anisha Howard, and I am a proud student of the Anglican High School. My question is, what are some important key factors or advice you would give to young persons in my generation who are willing to go the extra mile to turn their business or businesses into an empire?
Oh, that's good. So are you aspiring to be a businesswoman? Yeah?
Yes, I am.
Yes, okay. So what advice I'm going to give you, just make sure you read very, very well, you excel well. Don't play too much in school. Make sure that you actually come on top of your class. When you finish school, go ahead and start something that you know very well. And I always advise people that don't do any business that you don't understand. So first of all, you have to do your homework and accept that, okay, I want to go into fashion. If you go into fashion, right, you will make sure that whatever that you are doing, you do understand what you are doing, and you are committed. No play at all. I hope you heard me before. I told you, don't play. Yes, at a spare time, you can now go and play with your friends, but your main focus is that your vision as to what you want to do to achieve in life. But can you make it in life, right? You asked me that question, right? When I was your age, my own dream was just when I finished school, I want to work for my father. You must be about what, 10, 11?
I am a 16-year-old student in the
16?
fifth form. Yes.
She looks young. It's a Grenadian trait. We look younger than we are.
So, I mean, if you look at it really, I personally believe by the time that it comes to sort of your turn, you're talking about maybe the next 20 years or so, things might have actually changed, in the world. I mean, you being successful, more successful than me, is possible. Don't worry about where you come from and what is your background, whether you are from a rich family or you are from a poor family. And let me also tell you why, because you might think that, yes, I don't know what you have read. Maybe you must have read that I came from a very rich background, right? Is that so?
Yes.
Okay. So I will tell you something so that you will believe. And luckily for me, also it happened. I did not inherit. My father died when I was 8. But I wasn't living with my father because I happened to be the first grandson of my late grandfather. And normally in our tradition, when you have first grandchild or first grandson or granddaughter, the grandparents will take you away to go and live with them. So I happened to be that victim. So my grandfather really took me away. To cut the story short, when my father died, I was 8, and a couple of things sort of happened. My father too was very rich, and there were a couple of issues, in the family setup or whatever. But I did not, and I repeat, I did not inherit 1 cent from my father. The only asset that I inherited from my father, I gave it away, demolished it, built mosque and Islamic school, and I donated that. But so that's why I always tell people that you don't make money from inheritance money. Just make sure you focus. Your parents' duty is to make sure that they train you to be very, very honest, diligent, well-behaved, and once you graduate, then you'll be on your own. I think later on you pay them back you pay them back through helping them in their old age. But once your parents train you by educating you, they've given you the license to go and try your own luck. And I'm sure. And I'm sure for you, the sky is the limit. I mean, you can see now, even during our own time, I mean, the last 20 years, we have never, ever seen a human being being worth $400 billion. But today we have. We have Elon Musk is worth that much. So it doesn't mean that tomorrow you will not be that same Elon Musk. Have that dream that anything in life is possible. And you have to be on the positive side. You can make it, and it can happen. Thank you. But make sure I do well in school right from now, okay? Good luck.
All right, so we'll have the final question. So let's hear it.
Good afternoon, everybody. His Excellency, President Michel, Mr. Dangote, President Rama, all protocols observed.
Can you talk a bit loud?
Closer to the mic, thanks.
Hello? Great, okay.
Yeah.
My name is Kweku Bediako, Creative Director, Founder, Chocolate Clothes Global. Mr. Dangote actually missed you in Ghana, so I flew all the way to Grenada to come and give you a present. Yeah.
Are you hearing it?
I flew all the way from Ghana to come and meet you,
Sorry, I think if you can just repeat, because the audio might be a little...
The audio, yes.
Okay, great. So my name is Kweku Bediako, Creative Director, Founder, Chocolate Clothes Global. We're one of the leading clothing brands in the world from Africa. So I missed Mr. Dangote in Ghana, so I flew all the way here to come and give him a present. Again, you know, for me and on behalf of all the Africans in the diaspora, for getting Black Panther, I think you are definitely our hero. So I'd like to commend you on that. My question is based on teamwork. Well, they said teamwork makes a dream works. Teamwork makes a dream work. I'm going to guess and assume that you've not built this empire by yourself, but you have a multitude of followers. How have you managed to build the human capital to this point? Because for us and many other businesses like ours, it's our biggest headache. How have you been able to build the Dangote empire with all the different managers, directors? How have you managed that? The hiring and firing, all of that. How have you managed that till now?
Thank you. Well, when you are hiring somebody, you go and hire somebody who is smarter than you. Majority of our workers, they are very, very well trained. We have training, school, various grades. And we also go out there to look for the best talents. And hiring the best talent is key, really, because, I mean, machines and code, they don't do things. So you hire the best people and trusted people, and then you also empower them. When you empower them, then you actually don't have to do everything by yourself. But it depends. You know, there are some generals that they give instructions and they sit. But there's also generals that they will say, okay, fine, these are the instructions, but I will lead this war. You follow me. So I have quite a lot of our own people that we have actually, hired, and we have shared the same vision. We just don't come and roll out things. We will debate in-house and then agree that, yes, this is the best way to go. And once we align, we all agree that this is the best way to go. So all of them, they do understand what we are trying to do. They do understand what is the target. And then we all move, together. So that's how we have. But right now, what we do normally, we go to even universities and, do what you call career fair, and then participate, and now pick up people, and now you train them. If you go to now, for example, our lab at the refinery, which is one of the largest labs in the world, actually, all the workers there, all the technicians there in the lab, they are all 100% Nigerians. They have never ever, all of them have actually attended the local universities. They did not school abroad. Some of them have not even been abroad, but I can tell you they can teach anybody to be the best lab technician anywhere in the world. So that's how you actually, you have to have very well-skilled, workforce. Once you have well-skilled workforce, the sky is the limit.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the note I have says we've got two distinguished Ghanaians with us, one of whom I think just asked the question. Wood Maya. Wood, are you here? Am I pronouncing it? I would. So Wood's a renowned Ghanaian YouTuber, influencer, vlogger, digital media influencer, and they've flown all the way to be with us. And the second personality from Ghana is Kwaku Bidiako. Did I pronounce it right? Right. You just asked the question. So Kwaku has done fashion for people like Steve Harvey, Idris Elba, Cardi B. He's been named Best Fashion Designer of the Year, 2018 EMY Africa Awards. And for the record, our own ambassador, Olando Rumain, he's been appointed by Frexim Bank as a Creative Africa Advisory Group director. He represents not only Grenada, but the OECS. So, Olando, if you're here, you can shake a hand. And I'm just giving examples of these because the connection between Africa and the Caribbean is something that has been galvanized over the last 2 to 3 years in particular. And later on, we'll have the honor of having the man who's played a seminal role in initiating deeper cooperation, not just on a social, economic, but on a people-to-people level, President Orama of the Frexim Bank. And I'll give a simple example. We've had a Grenadian student doing her internship at the bank's headquarters in Cairo, Egypt, thanks to President Orama. So, I don't know about you, but if you have not been inspired by Aliko, nothing can inspire you. So, we are about to conclude on this part of the event. I want to thank him immensely. I didn't know he was that funny or that witty, so first of all, I want to thank him for his tremendous sense of wit and humor. Caribbean people like a little laugh and a little joke. So thank you for the immense wisdom, the counsel, particularly to our young people, the enunciation of the need to have vision, and not just vision, but a big vision. And I think particularly for Caribbean people, for island people, the need to have a big vision is absolutely important. If you don't dream big, if you don't have a big vision, then the nothing is impossible mantra will not apply to you.
Yes.
And I think when you've heard him, you've heard his experiences, you heard him say, going home and lie down and sleep and hope that the challenges will be overcome is not going to happen. And when you're in the middle of the ocean, it's the same distance to swim forward as it is to swim back. And so, for all of the entrepreneurs, for all of the business people, for all of the students, government officials in particular, or banks, the cabinet, it starts with us. We are responsible for this country, we are responsible for this nation, and they need to dream big, they need to work hard, maybe play a little less, party a little less, are all some of the things I've heard from him. So I want to thank you immensely for gracing us with your presence.
Yeah, very welcome. Thank you.
And I believe we have someone. I will have the moderator come on to guide the rest of the proceedings. But I think we will stay on stage still. Am I correct? Yes. Okay, good.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite you again to give a round of applause to our Prime Minister, Mr. Aliko Dangote. Now, this conversation, which was deeply aligned with the theme of entrepreneurship and leadership, you can have your seat. Cultivating a growth mindset for success has provided valuable perspectives on innovation, resilience, and strategic thinking. Now, I have no doubt that the audience thoroughly enjoyed this presentation, and they would leave renewed with motivation and takeaways that they would be able to apply to their own journey. Now, Mr. Dangote alluded to something that stuck with me and was reiterated by our Prime Minister, and he said that you need to dream big. Now, to the entrepreneurs who are in the audience listening, one thing that I'm going to take away, and I implore you to do the same, is the question, how big would you dream if you knew that you could not fail? Now, in expressing our gratitude to Mr. Dangote, we would like to present a gift. Grenada has a rich cultural sector that has been growing and is home to many talented creatives, one of which is Miss Salome Lawrence. Can you please stand so everybody can see you? Thank you. I will now invite a student from the Westerhall Secondary School, Ms. Danique Simon, to present this gift to Mr. Dangote. Thank you. Now, Mr. Dangote is also well known for his generous spirit and commitment to giving back. He has made numerous philanthropic contributions over the years. Today, he will be doing so by handing over cricket gear to Joy Cricket Club, a donation made personally by Mr. Aliko Dangote.
Am I on? Yes. I want to say a little bit about these kids who you're going to see. They belong to a cricket school called Joy's Cricket School. Joy means Journey of Youth. It was started by a group of volunteers in my constituency of St. David to teach young boys and girls how to play cricket. And when I visited Mr. Dangote in Nigeria, he generously offered to donate 1,000 cricket kits to Grenada, so it's not just for Joy's cricket journey. For both boys and girls, so we can rekindle and have a renaissance in perhaps our favorite sporting pastime, cricket. So, these are some of the kids who every Saturday are at the Laura playing field practicing and learning the art of cricket. And as you see, we have both boys and girls. So let's welcome them.
Come here. What's your name? What's your name? Okay, are you? What's your name? Charles?
Yeah. So this is one of our creatives. He has a unique way of doing the national anthem. And I don't know, maybe I can give him an opportunity to do so, but he's a very creative young man. And as you can see, he has things in his hands that I'm sure he's probably helped to make.
You want to mic up?
Before we take the picture, I'd like to invite Honorable Delma Thomas on the stage to take the picture as well.
She's here. All right, so we're going to invite Ryan to read the card that he wrote to Mr. Dangote. If we can mic him up. Oh, all right.
You. Good.
You want to? Well, hold it on.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Special good morning to Mr. Aliko Dangote and Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell. Thank you for providing the cricket kits and celebrating Grenada's 51st anniversary of independence 2025 with us. Raheem Child Joy Cricket School.
So you're gonna, yeah.
We give it to you. Yeah. Yes. Put it down. You hold it.
Hold it this way.
Well done.
And I'm sorry, I can't help it, so I will want to open just one so that we can. We've got the grill, we've got the gloves, we've got the bat that you're seeing. And more stuff in here. Helmets. And other protective gears like the tie pad, etc. So, believe it or not, we are going to have some future cricket stars. And with the nothing is impossible motto, Grenada will be playing cricket at the Olympics. It's an Olympic sport.
Thank you very much. Everything is there.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you again, Mr. Aliko Dangote.
Do you want to put it?
All right, you can come on.
Good. All right. Bye-bye.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite you to give a round of applause to our Honorable PM and Mr. Aliko Dangote as they take their leave from the stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Now, in keeping with Grenada's cultural and growing creative sector, I now invite Labukan Creative Center to perform a cultural piece that would reflect today's theme.
Before you do that, President Rama must come on. Just pause it.
Yeah. 1 second, we have a guest speaker who would be coming to say a few words.
Sorry, are we on? Okay, good. Can I invite back Aliko to the stage? Sorry. So, I did say we have another guest with us. and he is a distinguished Nigerian, son of Africa, a pioneer, a visionary, and an example of the nothing is impossible mantra. He is none other than Professor Benedict Orama. He is in his second term as president of the Afrexim Bank. He has, over the last years, pioneered the deepening of economic and social partnership and collaboration between Africa and its diaspora, and the Caribbean being one of Africa's main diaspora. He has championed the cause of the Afrexim Bank in the economic development space and in the global trade and investment. Through his efforts, CARICOM and Afrexim Bank have signed partnership agreements that has led to, amongst other things, Afrexim Bank establishing a regional office in Bridgetown, Barbados. It has led to the creation of the Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum. That forum has since been held in Barbados, Guyana, the Bahamas, and it has led to significant investing and financing pioneered by Afrexim Bank in the region. To just give a snapshot, the bank has already invested $1.5 billion in the region. There is another I'm told there's an additional $1.5 billion in the pipeline for Caribbean businesses. But it's not just about business. It's also about culture. It's also about our identity, our confidence, and reclaiming our past. Our ancestors came to this part of the world shackled and bounded in chains. President Orama and the Afrexim Bank come here as successful, proud freemen who by choice have recognized the need for Africa and its diaspora to reconnect on every level. So I now invite President Orama to the stage to give you a little brief remarks about himself, about the bank, the work of the bank in the Caribbean, and then to make an announcement. President Orama, if you can all join me in welcoming.
Honorable Prime Minister, thank you very much for inviting me and also for inviting our great and inspiring brother, Mr. Dangote, to your 51st independence anniversary. Thank you also for making us a part of this fire chat. Aliko does not cease to inspire. And he does not cease to inspire because he's done things only very few people in the world have been able to do. And I say this mindful of all the aspirations of many of you here. They say that seeing is believing. I know during the conversation, a whole lot of things were discussed about the challenge, about the magnitude of some of the projects, especially the refinery and petrochemical complex that the Dangote Group have put up in Lagos, Nigeria. But it's one of those things that the Bible said that you can only imagine, but imaginations do not give you the perspectives that can make you even begin to redefine your own ambitions and your aspirations, to begin to make you regain confidence in yourself as an African, and to make sure that we plant the seed here in Grenada. We have people who can say, I didn't only hear, I went and saw. So, Prime Minister, we will be sponsoring the best high school graduate, the best university graduate in business, and one best female university graduate to go and visit the Dangote refinery. And I hope that when they go and come back, you can organize something of this nature for students. We will be very proud to sponsor that so they can talk about their experiences. Because I believe that it's through that mechanism that we'll be able to make our young people to do even bigger things than Mr. Dangote has done, and begin to make us as Africans to regain our dignity as a people. And Honourable Prime Minister, I must thank you for being a part of a journey that I think what we have here demonstrates its significance. The journey we began some 3 years ago when Afrexim Bank began to build a partnership with the CARICOM economies. Honourable Prime Minister, you are one of the early believers in this dream. You supported it. And we are really very proud today that we're able to be here, a demonstration of the value of that journey. But the journey didn't start 3-4 years ago. It goes back to about the 1980s. The 1980s were a very difficult period for Africa. I think Mr. Dangote alluded to it as he was discussing the evolution of his business. At that time, the debt crisis hit the continent, actually hit the world, because it originated from Latin America, the so-called MBA, Mexico, Brazil, and Argentina. But what it did was that it led many banks to run away from Africa. And for the first time since many countries in Africa gained independence, Africa went into recession, went into great difficulties, and then we started having political upheavals. African ministers of finance, under the auspices of the African Development Bank, considered this matter and decided that because they were left alone by international banks, because they were left alone by even the multilateral development banks that were supposed to help them get over the crisis, that they were going to create their own institution. That they will create their own institution they will own, so that never again would they be in a situation where they are left upstream without a paddle. And that led to the creation of African Export-Import Bank. And they created it in a way that was special, created it in a way that it reflected the kind of things that Mr. Dangote talked about, the bank that should be of value to you. Because a bank owned, controlled, and managed by Africans. It started modestly. Total assets when it started was just about $140 million. They weren't deterred by it. They wanted to begin to sow the seeds. Not only did they create it to be Africa-owned and controlled, they clearly in his mandate said he should pursue South-South cooperation. He should aim to do business largely amongst Africa and the developing countries. So right from the beginning, we knew we had to open up to the diaspora. But we had to wait for the bank to be stronger to do that. So when the African Union declared the diaspora its sixth region, we felt it was time to begin to make the move. And we came here to make the case. We are very, very happy that we had very strong supporters, including your Prime Minister, for us to get into a new partnership that will reinvent the Middle Passage, the kind of Middle Passage that we will define and we will shape. So that journey, although it started 3-4 years ago, has seen tremendous progress. One of them being the kind of thing we have here, the fire chat you had here. But so many things nobody ever thought would happen just 5 years ago have happened. People were saying there was no business between Africa and the CARICOM, but we've proven that was wrong. We've been able to attract investment and investment opportunities that are headed to about $2 billion. We've been able to finance a sports complex in Barbados, the development bank in the Bahamas to support the SMEs, a facility for exhibitions in Bahamas, of course supporting the development of hotels here and about to support a hospital development here, rebuilding schools that were damaged, rebuilding schools that were damaged by the hurricane in St. Lucia, providing trade finance facilities to many of the banks in St. Kitts, and just coming from Suriname, providing significant financing to make it possible for the Suriname government to realize its dreams of becoming another big oil and gas exporter. Making sure that the international banks, wary of supporting oil transactions because of so many other things, did not scuttle that big ambition. So although we set 1.5 billion as our target to a Prime Minister, we have exceeded that. Our head office has been opened in Barbados, and in March, we will lay the foundation stone for 2 towers of 12 stories each to make sure that we are permanently here in the CARICOM. And finally, we've now reached agreement with the CARICOM Secretariat to jointly create a CARICOM Exim Bank. We're doing it because just as our present bank went from the baby steps of a bank of about $140 million to more than $40 billion today, we know that a CARICOM Exim Bank can do the same. So thank you very much, Prime Minister, and thank you very much, everybody. Let me again thank our brother Aliko Dangote for all he's doing, making us all proud, inspiring us, breaking barriers, and indeed making us believe that nothing is indeed impossible. Thank you very much.
Michael? Between that day.
You can all have your seats. Thank you. On behalf of everyone involved, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of those who made this event possible. A special thank you to Mr. Aliko Dangote for his presence and insights, and to our Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Dickon Mitchell, for his leadership and for hosting this event. To our organizers, sponsors, and supporters, your dedication and hard work have made this event a success. And to our audience, your engagement and enthusiasm remind us of the power of community and support. Let us continue to uplift and celebrate Grenada's entrepreneurial spirit. Thank you. This is the end of our event.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island, best believe my list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest breeze on the waters, friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for. Strength to carry on. We're more than just that island in the sun. Tell the world we are Grenada.
Going higher. 50 years we blessed with force and fire. Oh, you mean? We going up, going up, going up, 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 going up, going up, going up, 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 up. We aspire. Build advances, won't be put together.
granted, but so much things they give to me. Peace and tranquility, family, community. You no matter where we go in the world, just know that home is where my heart beats. As you strive for 50 more, as you strive to reach your goal, like you only bring the goal.
Pity Matnik.